All right, so we're here to talk about an update in the Beverly Jenkins homicide case. On August 12th, 2018, at around midnight, Ms. Jenkins was shot and killed at the corner of Westview and Hopkins Street. If you remember, she was a single occupant in a vehicle. That vehicle had an accident. After we got down to the accident, we subsequently learned that she had a gunshot wound. Um, so we have not had a tremendous number of leads in that case. It was actually kind of a difficult case for us. There wasn't a lot of information. It's fairly, to be frankly honest, the case was random kind of in nature. We didn't have any real good leads to start with. We were able to secure through the investigators' hard work some video evidence from a camera that was a couple of blocks away that showed the possibility of 3 or 4 offenders kind of walking up the street. And we had released that previously to the media in the hopes that someone would recognize someone, but the video was from a distance, and we didn't have a lot of luck with that. On the night of the shooting, we did recover one shell casing. That shell casing was turned into our evidence lab and then stored. So on September 17th at 01:15 hours, there was a carjacking that took place at 1685 Ralph David Abernathy. During that carjacking, the victim was shot twice. Those shell casings were turned into our evidence lab and then were rapidly connected to the Beverly Jenkins homicide. So the same gun was used in that carjacking that was used in our homicide, and our folks were able to determine that within about 24 hours time of the carjacking, maybe less actually. So with that information, we were able to put the information out obviously about the carjacked vehicle, and we kind of loaded that into all of our systems, sent out a big be on the lookout for this car. And yesterday we got lucky, and the car was found by Zone 1 patrol units. Those patrol units attempted to stop that vehicle. When they blue lighted the vehicle, a chase ensued. During the course of that chase, the suspect vehicle wrecked at Maddox Park at the basketball court. It actually made it all the way up to the basketball court, went straight through the fence. Both guys take off running. We're able to secure one of the people in the vehicle, and then one of the suspects was able to get away. Based on subsequent interviews, some evidence that we've acquired from the scene, and some other information that's come forward, we've identified, we believe, all 4 people that were present at the time of the Beverly Jenkins homicide. We have one of those suspects in custody, Darius Jones, who you see behind me, and we are looking for Khalid Bays, 1013 of 99, who is still outstanding. So we would like to put out to the public a picture of Khalid. We do believe he's changed his hairstyle, so the hair you see behind me is probably not his current hairstyle, but other than that, he'll look the same. And because of the random nature of these crimes and the extreme violence that they've shown towards the victims, catching him is of extreme importance to the Atlanta Police Department. I'll take any questions.
So where are the other 2 guys? Do you think they're part of this?
We have them identified and we've spoken to them, but they're not in custody at this time.
What, as far as Darius Jones, what charges is he facing?
Murder and robbery, armed robbery, and a host of other violent felony charges.
Okay. Does it seem like these guys didn't have any connection to this woman whatsoever through her volunteer work or anything?
They have absolutely no connection to her. She was unfortunate enough to stop at the wrong stop sign.
And then, so for the carjacking, was there any connection with that?
There was absolutely no connection to that victim that we're aware of. She just was unfortunate enough to stop at the wrong gas station.
Does it seem like these are the guys who were in that video you released?
Yes. So we weren't able to identify them at the time. If you go back and look at the video, you can't just pick them out, but we thought maybe clothing, the way they walked, where they were, somebody knew they were out that time of night, we may have gotten a lead from that. But now that we know who everybody is, it's pretty easy for us to determine that we have the right people based on that video.
Then yes, you're describing when the vehicle was located, 2 people running away, 1 was taken into custody. Do we believe that second one was Khalid Bays?
We do believe, as a matter of fact, we're almost certain that the second one was Khalid Bays.
Okay, and then can you describe, I know you're asking for the public's help in locating him, describe a little bit the difficulty in finding him ever since that chase?
Well, we thought that we had an idea of where he might go, but that didn't turn out to be the case. So based on that, we talked to our fugitive detectives who have been basically hunting him nonstop since the time of that vehicle pursuit, and they went ahead and decided that they wanted to release his picture and his information. Lots of times, as you know, we'll hold off doing that for a couple of days if we have a lead, not to spook someone, but in this particular case, I don't think we're real certain about where he might be, so we're trying to get the information out as fast as possible so we can get him picked up as quickly as possible. And 2, we're a little concerned about, his level of violence is unusual among offenders.
And then any reason to believe he's still in the city of Atlanta, or does he have ties to other locations where he might have fled the city?
We don't have any information that he's fled the city, but so we don't really know where he is, and we're hoping that he's still here. That'll make things easier for us.
Did you get a level of detail from the encounter where the woman was murdered to explain how it got to the point where she's being killed and the other people weren't?
Well, he shot the other victim that we're aware of twice in the carjacking at the gas station. So that victim was shot twice, and she sustained extremely serious injuries that were survivable largely because she got to Grady on time and they weren't immediately fatal on scene. The victim that we have that was killed, her gunshot wound was essentially immediately fatal. So they didn't have a lot of conversation with either victim based on the information that we have. They basically resorted to a violent approach almost immediately in both carjackings.
Then could you share any details as far as the other two that you said are questioned but not in custody at this time? What's the difference between those two and I guess Bass and Jones facing murder charges at this time?
It's still an ongoing investigation. Just know that we have those people identified, and if we had the same level of concern, we'd have taken a different approach with them. So at this time, we're taking the approach that we feel is going to give us the most successful prosecution going forward.
And are those two facing criminal charges of any kind or just not murder?
Well, they very well may be down the line, but I don't know the answer to that right now because I don't work for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. We haven't charged them with anything currently.
More questions? What about the community? What part of town are we looking as far as home for Bass?
Well, we know that their kind of home base is over in northwest Atlanta, kind of in the Joseph Boone, Baker Street, North Avenue, that kind of area. So we're kind of, that is kind of home base, but that doesn't mean that's where they'll be. So, or where he will be.
Everybody good?